especially like through my development stage, freshman all the way to senior year. I just wish I would have been on that side of town maybe and then got to connect with you guys. I definitely felt like it would have helped me a lot.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the One-Eyed Scout Show. Tonight we're gonna recap some of the Final Four, but let me introduce my two guys, Mr. Vance Bradford. Come on in, Vance, and Mr. Philip Townsend. You know, uh, Phil's always good about keeping his L's up. Unfortunately, Houston took an L,
That's right. That's
but
why. That's why he kept throwing them up.
but Vance, with his producer's eye, kept with the camera giving footage and film over the weekend, and Mr. Townsend held it down in the media room, keeping us full on edge with some comedy, random information. But if we can get everyone to go ahead and type in where you listen to us from, and go ahead and like and subscribe. We really appreciate subscribers. You know, we talk about college basketball isn't for everyone, and this Final Four championship really showed that. Fellas, an interesting fact that during the Final Four, not one single freshman played in the game or started in the game. So that
Hold on.
tells you
Back
how
that up.
important.
Back that up.
Not one single freshman started a game in the Final Four.
What? Okay, I'm missing that.
Okay, so you had when you look at all some of the good freshmen play, what he's saying is that uh, the freshmen came off the bench that, if any, that played. So none started
You saying no freshmen started in the Final Four?
in the final.
Correct. That's that ESPN put it up. Talking about the importance of the transfer portal. Because you know that in that
No, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Is Cooper? What's Cooper Flag?
maybe they were saying a championship game. You're right.
I think
You're
they're
right.
talking championship game.
Okay, guys, I'm just saying. I mean,
No, I said I was wrong, Vance.
no, I didn't say you was wrong. I was just
I am
saying
wrong.
that right there, that statement. Yeah, I mean,
No, I'm wrong on that.
yeah.
I ain't
Okay.
worried about
In
it.
the championship game. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you know what's crazier than that was Florida didn't have a single player rated in the top 100 of their recruiting class. And I want to say it was the same for Houston. I think J1 was a 3-star, and that was the highest. And now they're going to have one, maybe 2 5-stars in this recruiting class. So now you're getting kids that want to be coached, and Samson's got more talent to work with. So, Vance, Phil, let's take a minute to kind of describe what the first impression of walking into the Final Four weekend. What hit you first? The noise, the crowd, or the setup?
Well, I'm going to say for me,
Mm-hmm.
I tried to evade the noise factor as much as possible, which you saw that firsthand. That was my thing. But I think the thing that hit me up up front was how congenial the people were that guided you to different places
Mm-hmm.
and helped you get to the different places. And then you go and you look, and there's these buffets laid out for you. There's all of the snacks and drinks that are complimentary for you. It was a really good, really good situation. It was a really good environment to walk into.
I agree. Vance.
Um. Well, I tell you what, it was it was kind of different for me. It was almost like going for the first time, because even though we was at the Final Four earlier, it was during the COVID period, and it wasn't a lot of movement. You couldn't get around. Definitely was no locker room access, courtside access, and all the little things we had. Like Phil was saying, as far as for the amenities that was provided for us, but none of that during that time. So that was cool. And then being able to the press conferences, and stuff like that, and then actually just soaking in, like pregame, what I'm saying, where everybody's working, scrambling, getting set up, man, and you're watching a lot of the announcers and anchors, getting set up and stuff, and I'm sitting around, I'm looking around the room, and I'm like, what, thinking, wow, TAAN got up in there with the big boys, and people from out of town coming from North Carolina, covering the teams, and from Florida and Alabama, and Houston. Houston brought a lot of media up, so it was good to see. But it felt good that TAAN TV, as you maneuvered around Kevin and Phil, we made some impact, man. We were seen, we were known. Amongst the people there in that Alamo Dome, under that Alamo Dome, man, and so. I really appreciate the work that you two put in, and the camaraderie we had. We had a good time. I did. Yeah. Even though Phil, you didn't do nothing.
Well, I had a great time.
No, man, we all. I mean, just like the thing about it was, Phil, and I might be teasing you about it, but because you met every one of the workers, and talked to them, and they knew. And that to me, that made the people, because I even hear them talking about the guys, and so just the little things, man, that we did, I think made a big impact and made got TAAN TV's name out there, and I really appreciate you two for representing and doing an outstanding job, man. I tease Phil and but he was on it, man, and he was very integral to our situation, and then big time Kevin, Phil, he met the Grants, was it Grant Hills and all the people around, and he's snob
Andy Katz,
and
Ken Phillips.
Kevin knows a lot of people, man, a lot of coaches, man. So I thought that was real. I just had a great time, y'all. And then even at the USA basketball mini camp, that was an exciting time too, man. So
yeah, I think for me, it was the setup, man. Like you watch it on TV, but when you get in there, you really realize how big that space is, and the crowd noise. There's nowhere. I'm used to going to football stadiums that don't have roofs, but to just hear that roar from Florida, the roar from Houston, especially in the waning seconds, is what really got to me. But you alluded to the USA basketball, but before we hit that,
yeah,
let's talk about the locker rooms, the locker room access. What do you think stood out to you about the locker rooms and the tenacity of the reporters to get sound bites?
Who you asking me? You want to hit it, Phil, or want me?
Well, I've seen that action before, and look, you might want to get your MMA up before you start going to too many of those, because it's crowded space, and look, it's a time where courtesy protocol goes out the window when it comes to them trying to get that.
Hey, I do want to say this though. About the point you just made, Phil. And okay, ladies, you ladies out there, okay, know this: those ladies that were inside, that were reporters, and when we say, hey, it's a equal with men. I mean, them ladies was bogarting, throwing bows, getting in position. I can, it was amazing, man, and it was amazing how they worked, man. That, like I said, man. I was talking to Kevin real quick. I said, man, everybody wants to get that story first or find something that no one else has gotten, a story or something, man. But it was crazy, man, and it was fun to really experience that, man. But like I said, them ladies was in there, man, throwing bows, getting in position, and that camera right up in front, man, and they was doing their thing, yeah.
But you know what was funny, man? After after the Houston Duke game, you could just see the annoyance on Coach Sampson's face when a reporter tried to make them the underdog or said they weren't getting any respect. But he put an end to that one pretty quickly, and I enjoyed that. But let's jump right into the
Kevin, if I
highlights.
could just
Go
say
ahead.
one thing while you're on that and going with that, and we're dealing with talking about press. Let's give a round of applause. Our own Kevin Howell, the one-eyed scout, will live on as getting to ask a question at
he had
the
a
Final
couple.
Four press conference.
Couple.
Kevin, tell us
Yes.
about that.
He got
Tell
a
us about
couple.
that moment.
Well, they asked who's got a question for U of H, and I went just like a good schoolboy would, raised my hand around, and I got to ask my question. It was I like to answer. It was asking Juwan Roberts about failure and succeeding in that moment, and probably I wouldn't have handled it as well as he did, but for him to go through and say, what, really all I was worried about was the process about making, not ever thought about making the free throws, but what his dribbles were going to look like. I thought that was big time. But we in amongst the Final Four, we got an opportunity to visit the Team USA camp over at mini camp over at Trinity, and we were given the opportunity as media to get down and watch up close and take videos the last 30 minutes, interview some, and one guy that I did target was getting Elijah Williams, who was a lone representative from San Antonio TMI. And Vance, when you get a chance, will you go ahead and roll that clip?
Yes, sir.
Hey, this is Kevin Howell, the one-eyed scout again.
Hello.
Let me see if I can try it again. See if it.
All right.
Yeah.
Live TV throws your curveball.
Come on.
Here with Elijah Williams, San Antonio.
Wow.
Wow, that's so sad because it just played.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. All right. Well,
I
Elijah, what is this opportunity of this big of a...
man.
I think
play
it's your
at the end.
bandwidth, Vance. We'll have to try it again.
Okay.
Yeah. We got the opportunity to visit with Elijah. Just talking about the experience and playing with the top players in the country. And, it wasn't until we were getting ready to leave that first day that we all realized these were the top 65 players in the country, And amongst that, we got a roll call, but you're going to have to check it out on the Twitter and the Instagram because we got about 8 or 9 interviews with some guys, and it was a good time. But the other piece that was interesting, Vance, we got a chance to see some old pros. We got to see Monty, Elijah's dad. We got to see Eric Dampier and get a visit with him. Why don't you talk about that? The conversations you and he and his fellas talked about.
Okay. Is he talking about the Dampier?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, man. Well, Eric's son was there, and so we kind of caught him outside coming out, because we really didn't like to bother folks, because that was one of the things about that mini camp that I took. Kevin was on the players, man, you know what I'm saying, and talking with them and getting to meet players from different areas that he's going to probably be tracking throughout the year. But getting to talk to the parents, man. Well, I talked to several parents that are there just watching their son uh, uh, get to play and compete. Being one of the top 65 in the country, man. And Eric was so gracious, man. He was cool. He answered the questions, man. He joked, just like he was. I guess because we seen him, just by with interviews and while he was playing. He seemed like a pretty good dude, man. And so I enjoyed that. But when you're there for your son, when you're there as being a proud dad, yeah, it's a good time, man. There should be nothing in your heart, but just, hey, my son's out there doing his thing. So yeah, and Eric was gracious to give us, and even gave us a sound bite for TAAN TV.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. But I think the standout player was a young fellow named J.J. Andrews, and he'd actually been. This was his fifth mini camp. And he talked about what you'll catch in the interview, but he's down to his final five. It was like the likes of Marquette, Missouri, Arkansas, LSU. So that was, you forget, like you're just watching high school kids, and then how it's translating into a business. But you got something, Phil?
Yeah, I think the thing that was impressive with me, two things. One is that we were looking at some of them and they were only 15 years old. And we were like, wow, that's interesting. It gave me flashbacks to my day, Vance. But
Hey,
anyway, I want to know what I really want to say is that San Antonio should be proud of the fact that we had the Alamo Heights Mules head coach as one of the assistants on the team. So hopefully we'll be able to do some interviewing with him and get some inside knowledge of just how things, the little nuances to how they're, working and with the fellas and who's going to be in, who's going to be out. So let's hope we can get that worked out.
well, we got the one-eyed scout, Phil. Come on now.
Yeah.
They partners.
So I thought that was really great that we could get a chance to get him, and he's such a, an inviting coach to talk to.
Yeah, Coach Brewer is. He is
easy to talk to, and things of that nature. So I think it'll be real nice talking with him.
All right, so here's a question for you. In your mind, because I got one right off the bat, what was the most San Antonio thing that you saw this weekend?
The most San Antonio thing that I saw this weekend?
I'll start it off.
Okay, you started off.
Yeah.
When those college kids would buy their alcohol at the concession stand, come down, and the NCAA made them pour it into a clear cup. That was the most San Antonio thing I've seen.
Yeah.
But no, it was interesting because you could hear people behind us talking about breakfast tacos and such. But that that young lady from North Carolina did not appreciate Texas hospitality with some cold cuts and a buffet of bread.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know.
yeah, that was funny. But
So
well, let me.
mhm,
You talking about the most San Antonio thing that was happening?
mhm.
Was that humidity out there? Big country, Kevin,
Yeah.
Phil. That humidity
The
was
humidity was
there.
pretty good to me.
Oh, woo! Man, that one day we came up there, Kevin, and we had to walk.
Buckets.
Man,
Yeah.
we had to walk in that heat, bro. We was coming down in sweat, man. So
Well, I just don't know how Phil got that Uber to take him to the front row, front door service.
stop, Kevin. That's Phil Townsend.
Oh yeah,
He
right.
threw them L's up, and the guy knew
Right.
exactly who he was.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah.
You
Um,
know,
I
going
got my
with
phone
our
back though.
yeah, you get your phone back. Yeah.
Thanks, fellas.
So we like to talk about five guys that caught my eye, you know, and reflecting at the three ball games that we saw. You know, I did pick five.
Okay, we are we talking USA or are we talking Final Four?
No, we're back to the final four.
Okay.
Back to the final four. Uh, you know what? Jawan Roberts out of Houston to be there sixth season. I thought he was a lot like captain of captains. You know, as far as he handled the media, handled the team, handled the loss. Um, I did put Cooper Flag from Duke. If he's not the in the top three picks, I don't know who's picking because youngster could go. And then I will say from Florida, Walter Clayton Jr. You know they held him scoreless in the first half, but he had 7 assists, and then he wound up with high double figures. I don't think he got to 20, but it was pretty
Yeah.
high. And then the senior from Will Richard from he played for Florida. Man, he just kept them in the ball game. You know, when no one could hit the broadside of a barn,
Mhm.
he and those are uh, all are going to the draft. Those four, you know. But the one that kind of surprised me, um, Pettiford, that freshman, man, he was fun to watch, but he declared for the draft. You know,
Did
Right.
he?
I
yeah.
knew he would.
He's a bad boy
You
though.
Well,
know,
yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead. Finish out, Kevin.
no, I was just gonna say, with NIL money the way it is, you know, it wasn't gonna be a financial decision on first contract because
Right.
I don't see him being a lottery pick. But I just thought a year of development, you know, he could have been a top five pick. But go ahead,
Yeah.
fellas.
I was just gonna say the guy that I was that we were all sitting with on the end from North Carolina, covering North Carolina. Um,
Hmm.
that was the first words out of his mouth was, he's going pro. I said I wouldn't, but it's because of, like Kevin said, the NIL money and the fact we saw him do some things. I like his handle thing, but he still got plenty of stuff he could work on. That's just in my opinion. And I I would have, but then again, I don't want to get in anybody else's pocket. But if I
Yeah,
were him, I just think another year of people being able to see him and him cracking the starting lineup. I You talk about definitely
hmm,
lottery. First round pick. Right now, I'm. It's that second round. Well, again, who am I to say it's the second round? But uh, let's just say I think he could have really improved his stock had he stayed a year longer.
yeah,
Well, let me ask y'all this too, because I agree with you. If he still, I agree he needs because he still got to learn the game.
hmm,
They haven't really got the college game. He really don't have the college game down. Situations he was, okay. So with that, yeah, I agree with that. Now I'm asking you guys: is Cooper Flag coming out?
Oh yeah, he's supposed to be a
Oh,
top 3
look,
pick.
all of this talk about Cooper Flag going back that you've been hearing the last month, going back to North Carolina. I tell you what, if he goes back to North Carolina, check out my fro in a week.
No,
Well, it's
he
Duke,
should.
man.
I think he should.
No, I'm saying check out my fro in a week if he's back in North Carolina. That
Well, I'm sure he's probably going to go pro, but you know, I still think he could use it another year.
What's he got left?
Huh? Go ahead. He was
What
player of the
comments
year.
is that?
the Vance,
What?
Vance, there is nothing left for Cooper Flag if he goes back to college but to get nitpicked on every little thing that comes up. Where he's at and his abilities, and it's time for him to get the pro instruction now.
He gonna catch it in the pros though. That coming off,
Vance, so what if he doesn't go and he be that number one guy? Can you say Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen? It ain't nothing wrong with being that number 2 guy.
I've been trying to tell you that the whole time, but you failed. You argue me all the time about that number 2 spot.
No, but that's what I'm saying. It was nothing wrong with Jordan being number 2 to Pippen, and that's what I'm trying to tell you. Is that you saw how good Jordan was?
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. So, let's move on. Let's move on.
Okay, but what's wrong with Cooper Flag being that good, but he's not that number 1 option right when he goes in?
My only argument is, what does he have left to prove? He was already the player of the year. The only thing, like you said, nitpicked or win a national championship. But let's go ahead and
I don't see why he's the player of the year. I think Clayton Jr. was a bad boy that did it consistently.
No.
Oh yeah, and yes,
no.
Yes, and now he might have been didn't score in the first half of that game, but he put his imprint on the second half of that game in the clutch. When they needed that basket, he went to the hole and got it. So he's a different player.
Well, Vance, that's like me saying he wouldn't be there if it weren't for Pritchard.
Okay. Well, next. How would you describe what the Final Four felt like for guys like us, just pure hoop heads? I mean, is it all you thought it would be here in San Antonio? Well, do you feel like something was missing? Because I think 31 will be the first time we get a chance to host another one. Because 2030 is in Dallas. But is there anything? Go ahead.
No, if I can be honest with you all, and this is true honesty, the most exciting part of it for me was seeing how excited and involved that you and Vance were with this whole thing, the whole aura that was around both of you going in and being able to go around the court to do stuff and to be up there sitting up close in the bleachers and stuff. And I know, Vance, for me, it was good for me just being able to walk out that little bit of block that I'd walk in, even though I could have walked around the whole court, like Vance was saying. You can walk around the whole court. But it was just good to step out, because when you looked up there and saw all of the people, I was like, this is crazy. Then the explosion of the noise came, and I'm like, I got to get out of here. This is just too much noise for me, and it was great. I enjoyed being back in the press room and just, chatting it up, and it was good. But I thought, it was a prideful moment to be able to see, like, us being able to do the same thing and more. Remember, it was a lot of media members that could not do what we could do. Walk all around the court while the game is going on and do stuff. That is insane when
Yeah.
you think about it. It's insane. So that was my thing, just watching, that go like that, what you all were doing. And I was just having a kick out of seeing you all really live out, that moment. Yeah.
You got anything, Vance?
Well, I definitely feel saying. I mean, it was exciting, and like you said, man, there's some media there didn't have our access, but I felt too that we belong, man. We're not KSAP. They was all at Nick. Shout out to Nick.
Nick,
Uh,
our guy,
yeah, and what's the young lady name, man?
school brother. Nick, school brother.
The young lady that's on KSAP News, she was out. Man, in fact, I got a great picture of her if I can get it to her. But and then all the national media that came from out of town. And man, hey, they looked at little old us, but little old us was right in there doing things, man, getting asked questions, being able to ask questions at the press conference. Because I tell you, every press conference, the number one guy was from ESPN, and he was definitely getting the question. They was, so that level of respect was being shown to some of those media outlets, man. And
That's what makes it so. That's what makes it so insane to think that for TAAN TV, the one-eyed scout Kevin Howell got to ask a question.
well, yeah. So it was all good.
Yeah, it was fun, man.
It was a great experience. Would I do it again?
Now,
Hell yeah.
now my
Hell
number
yeah.
now my number one experience was good and bad. I only stepped out on the court. I mean, in that area, the court area, 3 times, and so I'm out there one time, about 5 minutes, and this lady comes up and tells me I got to go. You got to go. You don't have a purpose here. That's what she said. You don't have a purpose. You have to go. And in that moment, because when I looked up, it was so many people looking down at us because she was gesticulating with her hands and all, and so many people looking down at us. I thought for the moment, do I reach down and show her my card and say, I can walk around this whole court? Or do I just say, you know what? Don't make a big scene and just walk on out. And I chose to just walk on out because I knew Vance Bradford would be able to get back in there with his camera and not have a problem. But yeah, so I thought that was really interesting. But I was like, you know what? Just there's no need in me because now the embarrassment is on her because I've got this, this pass to roam freely all through there. But I was just like, you know what? Just slide on out of here. And it worked out great because I went back to the press room where I was really comfortable. I got to talk with all of Vance's people along the way, met some really fine people that were just, really, really helpful. So it was really great.
Well, Phil, the next thing I was going to ask you was for a final reflection, and I think you pretty much summed it up.
I had one more.
Go ahead. It's all about you, Phil.
No, I'm grateful that you all called my phone and the Uber driver answered and and said that a lady saw it back there and handed it to him. And when you all answered, and by the way, I met him the next day and got my phone. But the interesting thing was that I had to call for my wife to come pick me up. And I set a time for her to come pick me up. And the most interesting thing is when I walked out, I expected it to be the lot to be clearer, more clear than it was. And it's hundreds of people out there. And I'm stopping and asking people the quickest route to get to Cherry Street. And a few people told me. And by the time I got right to Cherry Street to step over the railing, I looked to the left, and 10 feet in front of me is my car. and my car is going past, and I see my car, and I'm thinking that is gonna look at me. The driver's gonna look at me, and no, the driver goes past me. I'm running alongside my car for a half a block, trying to get into the car, carrying my heavy backpack, and I thought, throw your jacket and hit the windshield. But then I said it might spook my wife, and she drives off and leaves me. So I just ran and ran, and then finally, when she slowed down, I thought I had her, and she took off again, and I had to run. But I ended up. She stopped. She looked. Presto magico, I was able to get in, but it was just miraculous that by the time with the stops and the question asking that I did, that I ended up right there at my car when I got there. That was crazy.
Yeah. Vance, you got anything you want to wrap it up with?
Okay, we wrapping up, man. I just want to say, man, that it was a great experience. It was a great weekend, man. And we got a lot of coverage, man. You know, I know you went through a lot of files yourself that off those SD cards, and so we're gonna be showing things and talking about it throughout. This is we can't tell it all just now, man. In the few minutes we got, man, because one thing we could definitely elaborate on Philip Townsend's experience. Only he can have the experience that he had. Only a Phil Townsend can have that kind of experience. But man, it was great though, man. I mean, all the people that was workers, like Phil was mentioning, the workers, man. The only good killer, like we said, when we went out there on the floor, for some reason, Phil and I somebody was always coming up to us saying,
What? Wait, man. Vance has to tell this story. Kevin, a guy was knocking on us it was crazy.
They was telling on us, man.
And we let him know, no. Vance was just taking pictures. But one of the guys, I guess he really wants to be. Matter of fact, it's the same guy that ran everybody back into the tunnel.
Oh, yeah.
He's the same guy. Yeah. He's the same guy that tells this really big wig guy over the tournament, hey, those guys there, they're videoing. And the guy comes up and Vance is like, no, I'm just taking pictures. I'm just taking pictures. But the whole point is he didn't ask. He didn't ask what we were doing. He just decided, hey, these two guys down here, yeah, bam.
But I did feel good, Phil, when they got on the girl from KSAP. They got on her, the one that anchors the KSAP Sports. So I didn't feel bad. I said, okay, well, I guess maybe did that just to show equal opportunity. I don't care if you're low TAAN TV or you KSAP News Sports. But it was just enjoyable, man. And like I said, and people were very helpful. Those guys were doing their job. They was trying because it's a massive operation, man, to run something like that. And I think they did a great job. And I got number of praise for them. And hopefully we can get them credentials and see you next year in Indianapolis.
Yeah, hopefully they get the parking passes.
Yeah. Well, if we come from out of town, maybe we could get one.
Yeah. I just want to thank Smoky Mo's for their help in sponsoring the leaderboard. I'm still waiting for the winner to reach back out with his address. But
who won that, Kevin?
The JPPTH something.
Elemental PQRST.
Yeah. Okay. But something exciting that we're ramping up here in June is going to be 5 stops and 5 guys, where we're going to take 5 different parts of the city, local restaurants, and pull 5 guys from that area. And just if you want to go out and test one of the spots already, we got Antler Cafe out here in Smithson Valley area. Great food. Got some soul food. Got some fried corn on the cob. Man, if you never had it, that's some good stuff.
What's the name of it again?
Antlers Cafe.
Okay.
That's in where
Yeah.
Kerrville.
I go to
No,
Spring
it's on
Branch.
Spencer. It's Spring
Oh,
Branch. You go up 281 to 46 and over.
Mm,
If you get to the high school, you're going too far.
tell me about it.
No. So and for our listeners, go ahead and tweet out your favorite memory and mention us at the One Eye Scout. And as always, this has been the One Eye Scout, and y'all know it ain't for everybody.
Hey, Kevin, I do want to give a shout out to Smokey Mo's.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I got that. Through Phil's suggestion, I got that baked potato with the chop.
So with the chop?
Come on, man.
Man,
Send them out there, and I believe her name was Sarah, out the one out there by
right.
military and
Right.
151.
It was.
That spot out there.
Yeah.
Off the chain, y'all. So and they threw a couple bones in there, man. They treated me well. And so I want Kevin, when you talk to the people at Smoky Mo's, they did a good thing, and Vance will be back. Back, yeah.
Yes, sir. So you want to go ahead and run the credits, if you will?
Well, you know what, Kevin, let's try one more time, man,
right.
and put up the interview. See if we can run. Maybe try the other one. Can you do that? If not, we can get on out in here and I'll run a commercial or something and a few commercials, because I do want to see if I can. Let's see if we can run this, Kevin. Let's see what happens this time.
All right, Kevin Howard, One Eye Scout, here with an opportunity.
It's got to be something with the bandwidth, man.
Yeah.
Beckham, when there's an opportunity like this to.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
Let me try this and see if we can get this one in real quick. We'll caught my boy with it real quick. He was moving, so I didn't get a chance to say too much, but he did stop and say this to me and see if we can catch this.
Bad word. He was always positive, a man of class, sophistication, big time dresser. But I love him. I miss him.
Carter, I missed the name. Was he talking about me?
No, he sure wasn't, and that's why I'm glad he teased that. But he was, and I want to thank Kevin for bringing that up. But I asked him a real quick question about his former coach, Ben Jobe, and like I said, man, and my camera was going in and out, man. So, but I did catch Avery, and but no, he was gracious, man, and he slowed down and talked to me. I
feel like he slowed down specifically because it was about Coach Jobe.
I mean, it hit him. It hit him, Kevin, and that was a good question that you had put in my ear to ask him, man. And then also, man, we saw. I got to see my number one guy that was before Jordan became the doctor, Julius Irving.
Did you get to see the doctor or his shoes?
I saw the doctor in his shoes.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? He was Ferragamo in it, you know.
Okay. Now you
They might have been the first pair he bought back in the 60s, but he was wearing them Ferragamos.
Yeah.
The doctor.
Kevin, you might need to let Vance know that Coach Jobe isn't Job as in relation to the patience of Job. Because Vance might not be too sure on that.
Hey, you know what's funny, man? Coach Jobe's offense would shoot it in less than 7 seconds.
That's what he said. That's what Avery said.
Before Loyola Marymount even thought about that.
Yeah.
That's how far ahead.
He mentioned his offense. He sure did. He mentioned his offense. Yeah. So
because that was an NBA guy, Bobby Phillips, that his senior year led the country in points and rebounds.
Mm-hmm.
Out there,
so man, we got some more, y'all. We got plenty of footage.
Are you all dispelling the myth that Coach D'Antoni didn't come up with the whole 7-second thing with?
Man, you can dispute it like some history that we know is wrong.
Yeah.
All right. Now there
Leave it
there
at
you
that.
have it. So, Kevin, man, so I just want to say, y'all, keep tuning in to TAAN TV, the African American Network, where we have a local feel and a global reach, y'all. You've been watching the One-Eyed Scout show. We got other shows like Thursday night. Our TAAN TV kids will show up, and we got Mr. Keelan Hollowell, the key to another level, starting at 7:30 on Thursday. So make sure you check it in. He had a great guest that played with Duke. That was a Duke alumni, Sean Dockery, and so we're very curious and interested in see who has this week on the key to another level. And next week, Kevin, I know he's getting ready for his summer schedule, y'all. I think you hitting in Dallas, right? You're gonna be up in Dallas.
Yeah, we're gonna hit the DFW. We're gonna roll Friday night. We're gonna watch the Adidas circuit, have their games Friday night. Saturday we're gonna go to the circuit, Duncanville. No, Adidas is Duncanville, but in Dallas. And then Sunday we're gonna go back to Duncanville to watch the second day of Adidas.
Said everybody,
So
it don't stop. It don't stop around here, and hopefully we'll have some live hits from Kevin, and then I know he's going to do some late night knives after everything is over. We're gonna work him. We're gonna work him, Phil. So man, hey, if y'all good, y'all everybody good?
Good.
good.
Okay, until next week, y'all. Y'all try to be safe out there, man, and do your thing. And don't forget, tune in. I'm gonna let my little guy tell you what's going on, fellas. So I guess we can cut our camera out until we come back, until we go off, and then you know how we do it. So I'm going out. Boom, boom. Mr. Townsend, you can go out. There we go. All right, y'all. Next week. Action.
Hey y'all, it's your boy Key from my show, The Key to Another Level. Today I just finished a tough game. We got the win. Me and my guys turned up when we needed to at the end.
Action.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Vance from San Antonio, Texas. Don't forget to watch our new podcast next Saturday, 7:30, Chronicles of the.
This is Coach Abbott, head coach of Southwest Legacy, home of the Titans, and you are watching TAAN.